55 degrees. Finally.
What's up, folks? I'm Renegade. They're in my lovely, messy garage here. Getting ready to work on the XJ600 and hanging out with my buddy Cam. Alright, technically Cam isn't ours, but he's been floating around the house for like 10 years. Comes around every time I'm working on the bike or working on the car. Basically anything, you know, any mechanical work. So I named him Cam, short for camshaft. Anyway, today, getting ready to work on the XJ600, aka Mercy, doing brake lines. The first thing I gotta do is get this fluid out. Alright, now I wanted to get steel brake lines to replace my stock rubber ones, but I didn't think I was going to find them online for this bike. In fact, I didn't for the longest time. So, what I did is I know that brake lines are just brake lines. The thing that matters is the dimensions. So what I did, I broke out a cloth ruler or measuring tape. The cloth one works the best, or the fabric one, because you can actually follow all the nice little curves and flexes the hose has to get your dimensions. Now this one measured out to be about 43. Unfortunately, I couldn't find another 43, so I had to go with the next best thing. Once you have the length of your brake line, the next important thing to know is the size of the fitting. You're going to measure that. A lot of cases it means taking the bolt out and then measuring this diameter right here. Alright, so I got my brake lines in. Now these feel really nice. Good, stable, sturdy 22-degree angled fittings. Should be really nice on the bike. Even come with the little grommets. And there goes a cat. What I did was I measured it out and ended up searching on eBay, and I found these for pretty cheap actually. For the 50 centimeter, which is my rear size, it's $7.30 plus a $1, well, 99 cents shipping. And for the front one, which is 90 centimeters, it ended up being like $12. But, of course, after I did all this, yes, sure, on a company site called Galfer, I'm assuming, I did find brake lines for the XJ600. It's not very common. So I did find these. I'm happy because I got them in red, which is the color I wanted. So, should do wonders. So there's faster ways to do this, but the best way I find is just to use a clear hose, an old bottle of brake fluid, well, an empty bottle. I use it for collecting, so I wrote bad on the side. I don't get confused. Open up the bleeder. And just squeeze away until it all comes out. It's gonna take a while. Alright, so why go to steel brake lines when what I have already works? Well, stock lines, these, are made of rubber. Means over time they flex because your brake system is pressure. You pull your brakes or you press your brakes, and it creates pressure through the master cylinder to push the fluid through your hose. Pressure means that these guys stretch a little bit, just because, you know, pressure does that with soft things. Over time, it can wear out and start to create a spongy feeling because you don't have as much resistance against the pressure. Steel braided brake lines are much harder. There's no squish to them. So you switch them over, you get more resistance, which creates better pressure, should give a better response, and over time they won't break down as much. Pretty simple when you think about it. Alright, once I got the brake fluid out, I just disconnected the bottom one first. I did it so that anything that's left will drip down to the bottle. Be very careful when you disconnect to save this bolt. Don't mar it up too much because you're going to need to reuse it. At least with this kit I have. Now up top's a little trickier because you're probably still going to have some fluid in here. So use a rag. Because you don't want this brake fluid getting all over everything. Although my bike is dirty, you don't really want brake fluid which corrodes and eats paint all over your bike. Now what I did is I just put the one up top back in the master cylinder just so I don't lose it. Now the tricky part is getting this back down so I can get the other one through the same routing and hopefully not mess it up too much. Let's give it a whirl. I think the easiest way is actually going to be to pull from the bottom and just guide it. Oh, I gotta take this off first. Don't forget to take this off, like me. Remember, when you take anything off a vehicle, whether it's a bike or a car, make sure that all the mounts are off first and double check for any others. This mount on my bike holds my brake line in place and my speedometer line. There's also one tucked up underneath the cowling. Now I'm free, so I'm just going to pull this down, guide it down, make sure nothing bad happens here. There we go. Bottom's out, or top's out, bottom's out, and we're free. Now I'm going to save this because rule 1 of mechanics: don't throw out anything that can be of use. There's nothing wrong with this one, so we're going to save it. Because this kit that I got, or this line that I got, didn't come with the rubber cover for the master cylinder side, I pulled it off my old one. I'm going to put it on this one. With that on, I got to feed this through. Now it's a little difficult because the steel is pretty hard. And it's kind of curved because it was in a bag for who knows how long. You have to guide it down nice and easily. Make sure that you get it routed back the way that the old one had been, or at least really close to. Now with the top one on, which I didn't bother showing because I think you can figure out how that works. Remember, righty tighty, loosey lefty, pretty simple. And the cover put back on. Time to get the rest of it in place. Now, easy way to do this, make sure that you put all the connecting bits, all little placeholders on first. This way it'll make it easier to make sure you have all the proper routing. Remember, washer, banjo, washer. This is why I didn't tighten this all the way down, although I kind of wish I had tightened it farther. This way I can have a little bit of extra play so I can wiggle the brake line around a little bit and get it positioned better. Alright, with everything in place, give everything a bit of a wipe down because you don't want to see any fluid. Take this cover off so I can see. That's pretty dry. Now, gotta add the fluid. Now, as you're trying to get the fluid to go through your line, make sure that your bleeder screw, it's this guy with the funny little nipple on top, make sure that this bleeder screw is open. This way you can get air to come out as the fluid replaces it. Always use a clear hose into your bottle, because once you start getting fluid and you're bleeding the brakes, you want to make sure you don't get any air in here. And it's hard to see if there's any air if you've got a solid hose. This is going to take a bit of squeezing. Now we're starting to get some fluid. See all these little air bubbles in there? We want to make sure we get them all out before closing this all up. With the brakes bled out, always double check your fittings. Make sure there's no leakage. It's all dry. Fluid level's good. Always make sure you clean this off, the gasket on your cap. Alright, so the first thing I can tell you is that this feels really nice now. Nice feel on the brakes. It's going to pair wonderfully with these levers. Now, I got the brake lines from a no-name company. I think I said in another video that these levers and perches and the master cylinder, all this, and of course the other side too, came from a company called Neverland. These are fully adjustable. You can adjust them down to however you want. But I like a nice hard pull. That feels really nice. So, on to the back ones. Now, the only difference with the rear ones, at least on this bike, is that my reservoir is tucked up underneath my fairing. So I have got to take this off to get to it. Besides taking the fairing off, the back brakes are the exact same process as the front ones. So I'm not going to bother going through all that. I'm just going to fast forwards. Alright, now the brake line is on. Both ends. Now put fluid in. Now, I know some people are going to say it's much easier if I take it off this bracket, but that bolt is stripped as hell, and right now I'm just too lazy to take care of getting a new one. So, I'm going to use a long neck funnel to fill this. It'll work, it'll be fine. And normally I would put this up on the paddock stand, but I lost one of my spools. Guess I forgot thread locker or something? Don't know. Either way, gotta order a new one. No big deal. Alright guys, well there you go. Front brake line is on. No leaks. Nice and tight. Back brake line is on. Nice and tight. No leaks. Nice feel. Unfortunately, my driveway is currently a swamp with snow. So getting out with the bike would be extremely dangerous. So I'll have to test these brakes later. Maybe once it all dries up. I did do a roll test in the garage. Roll the bike forward, hit the brakes. Seems to work perfectly. So even though I can't test them right now, I think these brake lines are going to do me wonders. Got a much better feel. Higher pressure, higher resistance. Seem to grab better. And isn't that what we all want? Better brakes. Your car or your bike can do 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's no good if you can't stop. That's why I did this. Better braking. It's all about braking. And besides, life's too short to stay stock. It's true. That's going to do it for me for today. My goodness, I love that bike. If you like this video, hit the like button. Comment below if you got any questions or any comments. Subscribe to me. I got a new video coming out soon. My next project for this bike ought to be really interesting. It's something that I think all bikes should have, but I don't think any of them do. Now, you want to see that? Subscribe. Should be next Sunday, I hope. Like I said, every Sunday I want to have a new video out for you guys. So, thanks for watching, guys. That's rock and roll.